Okay, you have your NFL Week 15 power rankings. So number 10, I have the Miami Dolphins down 2 spots. They did not have a pretty game versus the Chargers. Their offense has to get back together. The Chargers, I think they stopped the Dolphins' offense. Tua did not have a good game. Their whole offense did not have a good game. Offense was out of sync. And Tua was just, the receivers weren't open. Tua was missing, and it was just not a pretty game for the Dolphins. Their defense actually played well. Um, they pressured Justin Herbert a lot, forced him to take the short throws. Their defense is getting better, only allowed 23 points to a good Chargers offense. I got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen back, but the Dolphins, they really have to work on their offense if they want a chance of getting deep in the postseason. And number 9, I have the Washington Commanders. They're on a bye. They're only here because a lot of other teams lost. They're on their bye. At number 8, I have the Minnesota Vikings down 1 spot. They lost to the Lions. Their defense, they have to fix their defense. Jared Goff threw 3 touchdowns versus them, and they could not stop the Lions' passing game at all. And they didn't. But they did well. They did well against the Lions' run game, but their secondary really needs work. Minnesota's Vikings offense was good for the most part, made a couple of crucial mistakes. Kirk Cousins had a great game with a lot of yards, like 400 yards. Their run game did not get going at all. Vikings offense also has to be more consistent with the pass and run game, but against the Lions, Kirk Cousins had a great game. Vikings definitely, even with their 10-3 record, there are definitely flaws that they have to fix if they want to make another deep postseason run. Number 7, I have the Baltimore Ravens up 1 spot. They won against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's pretty much it. They were really ugly game. Huntley didn't have that good of a game, and I think he got knocked out at some point. Their defense played great though. Forced 3 Trubisky interceptions. Their defense right now is keeping them in the top 10 because their offense just keep on getting more and more injured. At least J.K. Dobbins had a good game. And if they can get their run game going, I can see their offense improving, especially with Lamar injured. But right now, their defense is really carrying it them and have played well, really good, while their offense is kind of slacking off right now. At number 6, I have the Cincinnati Bengals down 1 spot. Only down 1 spot because the Niners won. But the Bengals, they had a good win um, over the Browns. Not a great win. Their offense lost T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, which is not ideal. But the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase connection was there, and that led them to a win and had a good offensive performance. Run game was okay. Their defense still definitely an underrated defense. They pretty much stopped Nick Chubb and slowed down Deshaun Watson. Um, and right now, not sure how T. Higgins and Joe Mix and Tyler Boyd will affect their offense, but their defense right now is doing really good. Now, number 5, I have the San Francisco 49ers. Up 1 spot, Brock Purdy had a great game, or he had a good game, but overall their offense had a great game against a very good um, Buccaneers defense. Brock Purdy didn't have to do much. Their skill players carried, defense carried as well, and right now their skill players are really coming into their own. And San Francisco, one of the most dangerous teams right now. And number 4, I have the Buffalo Bills staying where they are. Not the most pretty win against the Jets, but it was a win against a very good defense. Josh Allen had a few moments, but wasn't the greatest. Their defense, still, even losing Von Miller, looked great. Their pass rush looked great, um, and even though it wasn't the most pretty win, they got the win, and they're starting to heat up at the right time. Their offense has to be a bit more consistent, but I like their defense right now, and I definitely have them at top 10. At number 3, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Almost lost to the Texans. They have to eliminate those mistakes on offense. Their defense could have played better, but this year they've been playing great. Their offense, though, too many mistakes. They gotta focus. Their run game is great though, but Dak Prescott is making way too many mistakes. The offense can be explosive if they limit those. Run game is good. Their defense, even though they didn't have their best game, played good, and I still see them as a top 3 team. Number 2, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. Had a 27-0 lead and then almost choked it versus the Broncos. Mahomes, similar to the Cowboys, Mahomes is making too many mistakes this season. I think he has already 11 interceptions, but he played good against the Broncos, if not for those interceptions. Their defense did not play great against the Broncos, but they're getting there. And the Kansas City Chiefs, even though um, they might not be as talented as other teams, they have a good coach and a great quarterback, so I have them as the second best team. And then you have your teams that dropped out. I have the Seattle Seahawks. They lost to the Panthers. It was not a good loss for their playoff chances. Geno Smith had an off game, but he still threw, I think, 3 touchdowns. Their run game could never get going, and their defense just couldn't do anything. And those flaws that people said at the beginning of the season is starting to come back to them. Their defense, after a good run, is starting to decline again. Their offense, but they could easily bounce back and make the playoffs. But not a good. That was a bad loss to the Panthers right there. And number one, I still have the Philadelphia Eagles. Blew out the Giants. It was that simple. Run game was good. Passing game was good. Their defense is definitely top five. And the Giants aren't even a bad team. But right now, the Eagles are really hot, doing really well. Jalen Hurts is definitely an MVP candidate. Run game great. Offensive line great. Everything's great about their team right now. So I still have them at number one. So there you have it, my NFL Week 15 power ranking.